Hey everyone, Brent with BC Doves, bringing you folks another music video today. I'm super excited to bring this one because we have finally done it. I've completed the Sponge discography. I got the final one in day before yesterday, and I wanted to bring that video to you folks. So anyway, please leave a like on this video if you find this video enjoyable. Subscribe to the channel. We post a new video almost every other day. That way you don't miss any new videos that we post. And leave a comment down below on what is some stuff that you folks are trying to complete, or what is some music that you folks are trying to find out in the wild. So without further ado, let's get into the Sponge discography. And I'm just so happy to get this one completed, and so I can move on to the next one that I'm trying to build. And this one I'm trying to do on vinyl. The next discography that I'm going to try to complete is going to be on vinyl, and that one's going to be a long road to hoe. I might have to start another one in between my vinyl one. I'm thinking about Chevelle. I've got a really good start on their discography already, so I'm thinking about just completing theirs while I'm doing this vinyl discography that I'm trying to complete, which I have an update on that. Stay tuned to the end of the video. I got some new vinyl pickups that I picked up today. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I started this probably about 2 months ago when I was thumbing through eBay, and I came across an album that was one of my all-time favorites from the mid-90s. And if you hear some sneezing in the background, it's my dog Otis. He's in here, and he's got some allergy or something, so he keeps sneezing. What are you doing, Otis? You okay? Anyhow, but yeah, so I started this. Let me adjust this real quick. There we go. I started this, like I said, I was thumbing through eBay and I come across this album right here, which is one of my all-time favorites from the 90s, and it's the Sponge Wax Ecstatic album. And, I had this YouTube channel bringing, music and stuff to YouTube, and I thought, well, this would be pretty simple to complete, and I really enjoyed that album. So let's go and hear the rest of their efforts. And plus it would be like new music to me because I hadn't heard all of their stuff. And in this last 2 months, I've been able to accumulate all of their albums. Now, I don't have any of their live stuff or their special stuff or anything like that. These are their 8. Sponge has 8 total studio albums, and these are all 8, and I finally got them all. So the first we have Rotting Pinata. This came out in 1996, I believe. This is their debut album with Plowed and Molly. It's a really killer alternative rock and roll hard rock album from the early 90s, or from the mid 90s. This came out in 1996. Their next effort was, of course, the aforementioned record, which is Sponge Wax Ecstatic. This is one of my all-time favorite albums of all time. Really, really enjoy this record. If you have never heard of Sponge and you want to get into them, I would recommend starting with this album. I think you'd really enjoy this record. It's very eclectic. It's not one sound all the way through. There's many different sounds and to this album. Very good songwriting, very well produced. Sponge Wax Ecstatic, one of the all-time great albums from the 90s. I believe this came out in 98 or 99. Okay. Their next effort was New Pop Sunday. So y'all saw this on my channel not too long back, but this is New Pop Sunday. To me, a heavy decline from their first 2 records on this album. I really did not enjoy this album very much when I listened to it. I mean, compared to the new rock and roll music that comes out today, it's pretty good. But from that era of music, this really was not that great. This album came out, let me see, 99. So the Wax Ecstatic, I think, was 98 or 97. But yeah, New Pop Sunday, it's okay. Comparatively speaking to Plowed and Wax Ecstatic, it is a serious drop-off from those 2. Next in their discography is Sponge for All the Drugs in the World. Now, this one is a return to form for me. This album is not as good as Wax Ecstatic or Plowed, but it's a high step up better than New Pop Sunday. I really, really enjoyed this album when I got my hands on it about a month ago. I've listened to it through and through about 5 times. Probably a couple of my favorite songs from Sponge are on this album, and one of them is "Leave This World," and another one is "Burn." Two really, really good tracks on this album. This is For All the Drugs in the World. Featured this, I think it was a couple of weeks ago on the channel. This is, got this one in. This is Sponge the Man. Once again, there's really not a ear-catching song on this album. It kind of runs through. It kind of all sounds the same. This is a drop-off from For All the Drugs in the World, in my opinion. Didn't really enjoy this record too much. It's got some cool album art, but for all intents and purposes, really didn't enjoy this record too much. This came out in 2005, and just for reference, they released For All the Drugs in the World in 2003. Next in their discography is Galore Galore. This is a step up, so we're seeing a trend. So from The Man until this, from the Man album to this album is a great step up. This is a really killer album. It's a really hard album to get. It's an expensive album to get. Even if you get it on CD, it's hard to find. I've mentioned this a couple times before on the channel. I paid almost $40 for this CD. I have seen sale copies of this CD go for up to almost $150. So I have no idea why, but maybe they just didn't press a lot of these. They didn't produce a lot of these or whatever. But this is a tougher one to find. But I really enjoy this album. Through the Hard Times is a really great song. And what's another one on here I really like? Wasted is another one on here that I really enjoy. Now, these last two are the last two that I needed to get, and I was waiting on them. One I got within 2 days after I ordered it, and the other one took like 10 days to get here, and that's what's taken me so long to complete this discography. I mentioned like 4 videos ago I was going to buy them, and you'd be seeing it coming soon. Well, I'm sorry it took a little later than expected because there was a delay with getting this album here. And like Galore Galore, this album is one of the more expensive ones in their discography, and it was hard to find. If you look this album up on eBay, just like Galore Galore, if you look up Galore Galore, you're only going to see 1 or 2 listings for it. As a matter of fact, if you don't believe me that Galore Galore is expensive, look up that. Go to eBay and search Sponge Galore Galore CD and look at the prices on that. And this one's very similar. I haven't listened to this album yet. I haven't even opened this album yet. Matter of fact, we'll open this today on the channel. This is Sponge, Stop the Bleeding. Oh, sorry. If we don't, party foul, if we don't break it. On Mom Records, it's still in the shrink. We're going to open this bad boy up here in a second. This was 2013. Galore Galore was, I think, 2000 and, what did I say? I think Galore Galore was like 2008. And then last but not least, this is their latest effort, and this is Sponge Laboratorium. And this came out in 2021. It's okay. They re-recorded Plowed on this album. I mean, completely re-recorded it. You know, their biggest hit from the very first album. I don't understand why they did that. But they did, and it sounds good. But this album's okay. It's pretty decent. Sucks it's not, it's in a paper CD jacket. I prefer, this, but, it is what it is. It's the only way you can get this one. But yeah, this is Sponge Laboratorium. And let me grab, and that's their last one, their last album to date. So that completes their discography. That's everything they put out. Now they have 3 or 4 live albums that you can buy, and a couple of, they have their singles and stuff like that. But like I said, I'm not going to get into that. I just wanted to complete their complete discography of their studio albums, and I have done that thanks to you guys' help. So let me grab my razor knife, and we're going to open up that Stop the Bleeding and take a look at it together. Got it. So, still got the shrink. I'm going to open that up, And unlike the vinyl, I am not concerned with saving the shrink on CDs. And watch, as soon as I say that in 15 years from now, they're going to be completely, nobody's going to make any CDs anymore, and CDs with shrink wrap on them is going to be worth a ton. Just like all sealed products in the collector's, hobbies. Completely different lineup. I think that's been one of the problems with Sponge, and that's why some of their albums are great and some of their albums are not. I mean, the only consistent member throughout the years has been, Vinny. But this is the album. And it's on a paper jacket as well. Can't wait to listen to this. I haven't listened to this yet. But anyhow, that is it. All 8 completed Sponge discography. On to the next one. And speaking of next one, I mentioned that in a previous video, I think it was 2 videos ago or so, that if I was going to do a discography, if the band came out after 1990, I was going to do it on CD. If the band was before 1990, I was going to try to complete all their discography on vinyl. And that's what I'm starting to do with this band, and this is a monumental task because if you look this band up, they nearly put out a new album every 2 to 4 years since 1972. Now, as I get to the end of their discography, getting some of these on vinyl are going to be hard to find because they have releases all the way as recent as 2016 new studio albums. So I don't know. Maybe they have put every album out on vinyl. But the band I'm talking about is Blue Oyster Cult. This is their debut record right here. Original press, well, 1972 press, but this album came out in 1972. And this is a copy of the 1972 album, Blue Oyster Cult. This is their second, Tyranny and Motivation, or Tyranny and Mutation, right here. This is their second album. Their album art's just killer. Love their album art. This is 1974 copy. And today, there is an album between this album I'm going to show you, another studio release called, I cannot remember, I'm drawing a blank. Excuse me, forgive me if it comes back to me. I'll mention it while I'm making this video. But this is Blue Oyster Cult, On Your Knees, or On Your Knees and Off Your Feet. Or what is it? On Your Feet and Off Your Knees. I'm sorry. I thought that potentially this was their third release. This album dropped right after their third release, but this is a live album, which I'm not trying to get into completing discography buying the live albums, but I have it now. It's cool album art. This is an original from 1975 with the original sleeves. Let's take a look at the vinyl. Really good shape. So, really happy about that. On Columbia Records. Let me get this put back up. I'm sorry, hold on, bear with me. But it's a gatefold, double LP, double album. It's about an hour and 15 minutes of music on here. Here's their other LP. But yeah, yeah, whatever. It's a live album. That gives me 3 Blue Orchard Colts, but I really wasn't counting on. I was hoping this was a 3rd album. It's stupid of me because all I have to do is, pull out my phone and look it up when I'm picking through the records. But I saw it there. I've been looking for a Blue Orchard Colt album out in the wild for about a week or two. I haven't seen any. And when I saw this one today, I do that later. I had to grab it, and I did. And once I had purchased it and got into the car and was looking it up, I realized that it was a live album. Now I got that album today from 360 Unlimited, which somebody told me about. That's here in Lakeland, Florida. I have mentioned to you guys before, we have the Wax and Needle, which is a record store. We have Jesse Carl's Vinyl, which is a record store, which is the one I usually go to most of the time. And then I didn't go there today. I went to 360 Unlimited because somebody told me that they had vinyl in there, and man, did they ever. They have some original pressings of all 3 of Blue Cheer's first original albums. He had $50, $49.99 a piece on those. They're in great condition. I asked him how long they've been sitting there. He said for over a year. I said, not for long. I'll be back to pick them up. If anybody knows anything about me, I like Blue Cheer. I showed one of the records on a previous video that I just purchased, but I'm going to go back and get theirs. But 360 Unlimited, really cool store. Met the owners today, super cool people. Would like to do an interview with them, so look for that coming up on the channel. I'm going to try to reach out to those folks next Saturday and see about getting an interview done with those folks. I bought a couple of more records while I was in there because you know me, I'm going to buy some records. Speaking of records, I have the 2 Window albums up here. First one's to guess which albums those are. Put it first comment in the comment section. I'll pin that comment up top. This is a band, and you guys may have heard of them that watch the channel, but I had never heard of them. And they had 3 or 4 of their albums sitting there. But I picked this one up. This is Dixie Dreads. Really cool. You step back a little bit. Really cool album art. That's what kind of drew my attention to it. And from most that I can tell, this album came out in 1980. And from everything that I could tell, this is solely instrumental, like folk guitar rock, instrumental rock. Listen to it in the store. As a matter of fact, when I'm done making this video, I'm gonna put this on. Super cool record, super clean. Only paid $7.99 for it, which I thought was a good deal. Original sleeve, in loving memory of Twigs. There. Take a look at the vinyl. Yeah, clean enough. Need to clean this one before I put it on the old turntable there. Dixie Dregs. If you haven't ever heard of them, give them a listen. Look them up on YouTube. And then this is a German pressing of this album. This is American Woman by the Guess Who. It's just a super duper clean copy of this. Got this for $10, so this could have went in my. I just had a video, 10 great albums you can get for $10 or less on vintage vinyl, and this is one of them. It's on the original sleeve, which is always a plus. And just super clean. No fillers, no hand oil, no nothing. The Guess Who. Obviously on this album is American Woman, as well as No Time and No Sugar Tonight. And I'm not the biggest Guess Who fan in the world, but I'll tell you why I bought it. Because my mother was. And my mother passed away quite some time ago now. And I remember going in the car, riding in the car with her, and she had, I think, their greatest hits. And she would just sing as loud as she could to those songs. And she really enjoyed the Guess Who. And so when I saw this, I had to grab it. So Well, anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. Like I said, if you found this video watchable, please leave a like, subscribe, comment down below. What is some stuff that you guys are working on, and what are some records you're trying to find out in the wild? Trying to keep the music alive. And we'll see you on the next one.